Welcome to TV Houston's Diversity Talk. I'm your host, Sangeeta Dua, and on my right-hand side, I have Miss Myers. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you, Sangeeta. Thank you so much for having me.
Thank you. And to my left, I have Miss Bernadette. How are you?
I am fine. Thank you for the invitation.
Welcome to the show. Well, let me introduce you to our panel today. We always bring in one from the Democrat side and another from the Republican side, but today's show is not all about that. Today, our topic is women in politics. What it takes to be in politics for women, what kind of hurdles that they go through in politics, besides having to deal with their families, their children, their health. The entire nation is still look up to, and entire humankind looks up to women to make things happen. Isn't that correct?
Exactly. I think especially true in the GOP party in Texas. Women are the driving force. We really are. We get things done.
Yes. So, and to introduce you to Ms. Myers, she's definitely a long-term, lifetime Republican.
Exactly.
Correct? And she ran for a Congress also in 2002.
2012.
Yes, correct. Thank you for correcting. And she's been an educator as well. She teaches the English, the language, the way we're supposed to speak and all that. And I'm already afraid of you. If I make mistakes, you're going to be correcting me later on. Since English is not my first language.
Beautifully, Sangeeta, just beautifully.
Thank you. And on my left, we have Ms. Bernadette, and she is also Republican, Hispanic Citizen in Action group in here, and she's a long-term communist, an activist, right?
Yes, ma'am.
So as an activist, what was your role to engage the community with the politician, or just to help them out?
My role as a Republican was not to go in and try and seek votes, but to go in a human, being warm, educating the parents, the family, helping them to be more engaged into the American culture, understanding the laws, the boundaries, helping the children to go through the process of education. And when they encountered racism or situations that would take them out of the school environment for a period of time, then I was called on to mediate and seek a solution. And so I represent the family, kids, things like that.
Excellent, excellent. Going back to Ms. Myers, when you were running for Congress, I'm sure you have families, you have relatives, you have friends around you. Did they make it easier for you, or kind of jealousy got involved a little?
Oh, absolutely not. I was very much supported by my family. My daughter was my treasurer, and my son put up signs for me. He said, "Mom, you got to put those signs up like now. Don't wait too long." And he went all over helping me with his pickup, and we put up signs everywhere in those 9 counties. So he was terrific. And
how about the support from the other women?
Well, I don't have that many women relatives in Texas, but they did support me. They did. But
so overall, when you were running, did you get a lot of support from women overall in general?
Actually, I think it came more from the men, to be honest. And but I raised 2 children since they were babies on my own. I raised and supported them on my own. So I'm all about women. And I've been in the corporate world. I worked there for 15 years, and I think women really do have a long road to hoe in business, but in politics, in Texas especially on the congressional level. But I had never been in politics before, but I was passionate about my cause, of what I wanted to accomplish, why I ran, and I just didn't let anything hold me back.
Wonderful, wonderful. So good to know that. Going back to Ms. Bernadette, being a Hispanic, I know 41%, or let's say 37.8% to be exact, Latinos in the Houston and the greater Houston area. And you are for Republican, and you are supporting Trump.
Yes, ma'am.
Explain that to me. A lot of people are still confused.
I have no fight with Univision or Telemundo. I come from Central America, and many of my friends also come from South America and Central America. I do have friends that are from Mexico, but the ones that are coming from South America and from Central America, a large percentage come here legally.
Yes.
And that's what I want. I want all Hispanics to enter here legally so that they have the opportunity of the American dream. But to attain the American dream, they have to become citizens so that they can partake and participate in the benefits that all of us enjoy here. And I want them to be able to vote.
Absolutely.
And I don't want them to be a block. Consider, okay, this entity, I will speak for this group, and they will follow and do what I do. I want them to remain very independent in their knowledge of politics and vote. Not necessarily do they have to vote straight party ticket, which I am not for in a sense. I want them to be educated and vote for the right persons into those offices.
So who is the right person at this time, in your opinion?
I would say since 1965 that I've been here, I have been voting very much Republican. They offer me the things that represent my values, my Christian beliefs, my conservative stand, and I am going with Trump because Trump aligns with the values that I have as a Hispanic family in the American culture.
Thank you so much. And going back to the same question, how is the Trump campaign or the Republican Party or let's say GOP is helping women?
Well, you mean women candidates
Women
or
candidates,
just general with
women?
jobs?
Why a lot of women are supporting him? That's pretty much, let's put it this way.
Well, I believe as a woman, it would be great to have a woman president, but I believe that Donald Trump has been very outspoken and has actually hired a lot of women in his businesses, which proves that he really is very sincere about allowing women in the workplace to have an equal stance. And I admire and respect him for that. I think it's very real. I don't think it's real with Hillary. I think she's all about a show. And I think she's the worst example of anything a woman president could be. I'm sorry, I have a lot of reasons why Hillary should not. She should actually be in prison, in my opinion. And she's lied to the Congress, to the American people. She allowed
about
those
the Benghazi or about the emails?
She allowed our Americans to be murdered. They had been asking for more security. She turned her back on them. I believe the latest emails that have come out have been uncovered show that she was actually totally aware of what was going on in Benghazi when it was happening. She is totally incompetent. She actually needs to be held accountable for murdering she's responsible for those murders of our American men.
That's what a lot
overseas.
of people say that. Yes.
And not only that, she has actually, because she did not secure the servers of those emails and put them on her personal server, I don't even know why she'd delete 33 emails. Why would anyone delete 33 emails if they're not afraid of something? Well, because of the insecurity of our computers and our because of what she did on that, the Russians hacked some of our top secrets, and they will not give them back. The Russian government has refused to give back to us our secrets.
Okay. Yes, but as we were talking about the Trump, why not Hillary? Why not being a woman? You are not supporting a woman for the very first time. One woman got nominated to be a president, and she had fair chances of becoming a president, but you're not supporting. Being a Latino And Trump is all against Latino. He's been telling that I'm going to put up a wall, I'm going to deport them, and all sorts of things. They're rapists, they're criminals. But you're still supporting Trump and not supporting Hillary? Justify that.
What he has said is the truth. I mean, persons that are entering here illegally, not all of them, but there are those that are coming with that type of background from their Hispanic countries. Not to say that they condone it over there, but they're more lenient to overlook it, where here in the system, there is justice for those type of behaviors. And as a mother, as a Hispanic mother, we want to raise our kids respecting the laws and the boundaries. And if we're going to have people entering here illegally, and we enter legally here, what kind of message do we send to our kids when we teach them to disobey the American law?
Very good point.
Then we will practice what we have been doing in our country. I don't want that. We risk our lives to come here. We left our homeland. We left our families. Mothers want a better opportunity for our children. Education is stronger here. Your dreams, your money, you can be anything you want here. I mean, there's
correct.
Upper class, middle class, low class.
Yes.
In Latin country, you have high class, low class, no middle. So where is the dream?
Yes.
I'm glad I'm here. I'm glad I'm Hispanic. And I want to see Trump being president, because he is going to make women equally in the workforce.
Thank you so much. It's time for us to take a little short break, and we'll be right back. Don't you go anywhere. Welcome back to TV Houston's Diversity Talk. My name is Sangeeta Dua, and I'm the host today. And before we went on a break, Miss Bernadette, she was talking about why she didn't want to support Hillary and why she wanted to support Trump because of different issues. And I'm going to take that and extend the same question to you, Ms. Myers. Let me know, being a woman, you've been an educator, you've been a Republican entire life, but this time, as women is becoming a president, at least she got nominated. But a lot of women are not supporting her. A lot of women are still supporting Trump. I want to go to the bottom of it and know what is the reason and why they're not supporting women. Why not supporting Hillary?
Well, I think Bernadette hit the nail on the head when she said in the break that Hillary has never produced one job. All she does is talk. She's just another politician. But Trump, on the other hand, has done it all. He has had some failures, but he's overcome them and come back even stronger than ever. He's formed companies. He's earned $10 billion. He knows the banks, the back rooms inside and out. He will be the one to fight the bank global elitists who are behind the Federal Reserve System that was sneaked into Congress in 1913 that has nothing to do with the U.S. Treasury. We need to get rid of that. Trump understands our banking system. He understands international business. He has created jobs and companies, and he's all for getting jobs for every American, hardworking American. And as far as that border goes, when I ran for Congress in 2012, I was very much in favor of securing our border because it was a fact that 66 countries, not just our Central and South American countries, were having the inhabitants cross our borders illegally, but 66 countries around the world violating our law, and they brought in drugs and crime, which absolutely has got to stop, and we can't support these illegals in our country anymore. And I thoroughly would like to say, as far as women are concerned, and Trump being all for women, Brigitte Gabriel the founder of Act for America, grew up in Lebanon as a young girl. She was bombed by Gaddafi, and she understands the Islamic regime. And I really admire Trump for standing up against the Muslim culture, which hates women. Women are treated like dogs. Hillary, on the other hand, is with Obama. They will usher in all these so-called refugees, which are mostly men, by the way. They're not bringing in women. Okay, so how are they for women, right? They're not. They're bringing in these young men that can impregnate us, women in this country, and can fight us. And so I believe that we need to really batten down the hatches, secure our borders, and help Americans, and from every culture, every nationality that wants to come in legally and work hard and make this a better place. I admire them tremendously for wanting to do that, and I say all for it. Let's go for it. But Hillary will be the exact opposite. All she does is talk, just like all the other politicians. On the other hand, Trump's a doer. His proven track record, immaculate in business, a leader, he'll get the job done. And Mr. Len Swanson has this group called Houston GOP, and it is all about the GOP party becoming the diversity group, outreach, all about getting jobs for all ethnic groups, all nationalities, not just the party of the lead. And because of that, we will succeed and make America great again.
Yes, I'm glad you mentioned about this Houston GOP diversity outreach, because I've been hearing about it a lot lately on all this social media, Facebook, Twitter, everything. And this is great that for the first time, I mean, I know that Texas always been a red state, but I think for the first time it's red. The color of the red is kind of changing, and it is putting a lot of browns in it, since the diversity is coming into a play. And there's a town hall, it's set to be I think happening, I'm not sure, I think it's September the 7th. It's happening in somewhere that maybe we'll find out more details about it. But yes, it's going to be a diversity GOP outreach in Houston for a change. So I'm really happy about that not only the old GOP or the progressive GOP is involved, but they're actually, in fact, it's an outreach and involving all communities into that, and maybe creating a new sort of GOP.
It's becoming the party of the hand up instead of the hand out, where people can really earn a living instead of being woefully dependent, deprecatingly dependent upon the government to support them, where they're like slaves. They cannot get ahead. It's just like the plantation owners the government is taking advantage of the culture of these ethnic groups that can't see a way out. And Houston GOP with Len Swanson's group, which you can find on the internet, is the light and the way for people of all colors, backgrounds, and nationalities who really want to get ahead instead of just, you know, getting a handout.
Yes, correct. And
going nowhere.
Back to Ms. Bernadette, when we are talking about reaching out to diversities and all that, does your action committee is sort of also doing something similar to that?
Yes.
Tell me about it.
We realized that Hispanic students now into high schools are taking their education very serious. They're wanting to graduate. They're learning their sciences. They're wanting to go into the field of engineering. That is going to open up a big diversity into the market, is to be able to give that segment that has been sustained more in the background to be more subservient into the market, with the women and the young ladies going towards engineering, where it dominated predominantly for men. And Trump is energy.
Not to cut you off, but where I'm having a question in my head at this point is how the Trump is going to help the Latin community when more than half of the people are relying on money from the government, and they sit in unemployment, and they are on the food stamps and taking the money from the government, and they think they don't really have to do much.
Most percentages of Latinos are not taking the government subsidies as the other minority groups. Hispanics and Latinos have produced their own independent businesses. And I think Trump is coming in to say, hey, here we want to develop more the energy background. We want to develop more institutions that will grow the economy through financial institutions.
So are they going to stop the businesses, whatever they're doing, and go into an education? Is that the pathway?
I think the young ones are going towards sciences and engineering, because you need engineering in every field, from creating your medicines to the very table, to the color of this table. Engineering is a wide spectrum.
And the Hillary administration is not going to do that?
No, Hillary has never produced a job in Arkansas. In Hope, Arkansas, never produced anything.
Are you from Arkansas?
No, my family, my first husband's family was from Arkansas. And like they said, they didn't do nothing in Arkansas, and Arkansas is still an area that of low economic development. If you can find a company 5 miles of each other that they could say that's a corporation over here, you would be lucky. Because in Arkansas, they do collect those free stamps.
I see. So that's where it comes from.
Yes.
Okay. A question to Ms. Myers. Let's go back to our history of this country, how it was built, and the demographic at that point, and how it's changing towards we have the majority is becoming a minority and minority is becoming a majority. How does this turnover happen? And also let us know about when actually women got to vote, when we had the privilege to vote in the country, and all of the did a little bit of history about that.
Yes, ma'am. I think that Susan B. Anthony and others have really they've lighted the way for women as suffragettes, and they were terribly mistreated. They were dragged into jails and force-fed because they tried to starve themselves unless they would pass a vote for women to be able to vote. And they were held down by force, and all kinds of things were put down their throats. They were incarcerated for standing up for women to have the right to vote. And as far as Hillary being for women, that is a joke. Yeah. She being an attorney, and by the way, she didn't pass the bar exam in DC area. She had to go back to Arkansas to pass it there, and she represented a rapist, an older man who had violently raped an innocent young 14-year-old girl, and Hillary got that man off scot-free. And now this young lady who's older is coming out and speaking out about it, and she's telling the truth of really how bad really Hillary is. And another thing I want to point out about Hillary, at her senior year at her women's college, Wellesley, she wrote her thesis based on Saul Alinsky's book. He's a communist, a known communist. They were big buddies. And he dedicated his book on the first page, the acknowledgement page, to Lucifer, to the devil. And so I think that this is really going beyond just economics. I think it's a spiritual battle for the life of America. It's a battle against good versus evil. She's evil. The Clintons are evil. When her husband was in office, I know people that went to the Officers Club just on Arlington Hill, looking over the Washington Monument, and top security officers in our military, and they were afraid because people were just frankly getting knocked off. If they stood in the Clintons' way, they're very powerful. And they pay people off. Look, Hillary Clinton and her husband with this Clinton Foundation should be thrown out the window. They're getting money from all over the world, contributing to our political campaigns, which is illegal. It's against the law. And so they get this money in through the Clinton Foundation and funnel it into their campaign. That has got to stop. They're crooks. She's a liar. And she needs to be incarcerated.
Let's take a little short break, and after we come back from the break, and we can talk about more.
Thank you. As women.
Welcome back to TV Houston. My name is Sangeeta. On my right, I have Ms. Myers, and on my left, I have Ms. Bernadette. And we were discussing about why not Hillary, why not Trump, why Trump, why not Trump? What is this election 2016 is all about? What are these candidates are doing, and what are they saying? What it means behind their language? So let's go back to Ms. Bernadette once again.
The reason why I like Trump very much is, number one, it was based on immigration. Because I see a lot of injustices that are done to the undocumented people that are coming from Central and from across the border. The low wage, the no insurance, no medical, no retirement. I mean, they live in the dark. I don't think they should need to continue to live like slaves in that. And by giving them the liberty to become legally here, and I would say maybe he's going to say, you know what, we are going to allow you to fly back home, get your passport stamp or get something, and then fly back within 7 days.
That's exactly what he said today.
Oh, he did that?
Yes. Before coming in, I was watching the news, and I usually flip-flop towards the Fox or the CNN. That is exactly his message was. He was saying that he's softening on his policies towards the Latin community, and that is exactly he said was and then he said, I am not going to change to whatever I said in the beginning. Yes, they're all going to be deported.
Yeah, because if he goes ahead and he says, go ahead and fly back home, get your paper stamp, bring it back here, but I'm going to give you 6 months to finish up those papers with the immigration on this side, get the green card, and then you become a green card holder, eventually become a citizen. Because when you become a citizen is when you start getting the good pay. I mean, you're equally in everything. And these employers that have taken advantage of the low wage and kept these people in living conditions where 6 and 7 families have to live together. The kids can't go to school in the right way because they don't have the clothes. They don't, it's
just
horrible.
Not a very good environment for them to be in, because they're not living the American dream.
No.
They are not living the American dream.
The mothers can't go out and work and have good jobs so that they can show their daughters, I am proud of whatever I do here. But look, I can also have this kind of job and you will have the better yet.
Correct. Okay, going back to the education as well as the foreign policies and the workforce policies, what is the new GOP is bringing to the table?
Well, GOP or Trump?
Trump.
Okay.
Together, yes.
All right. Well, in my opinion, if we do not elect Trump as our next president, America is over. O-V-E-R. Because we will be run over by third nation mentality and way of life. We are hurting right now. America's in a bad place. Since Obama took office, our debt is now $20 trillion. And most of that has been accumulated with his being in office, a vast majority of increase of our national debt. He's never had a job either. He's never created a business. But Trump has, and so he knows how to do it. So that's what he's going to do for America. Not only that, Hillary is really buddy-buddy with Obama. They hug each other at the airport, and she will be a continuation of everything Trump stands for. Look at the statistics. This nation is 50% living on food stamps.
That's what I was telling you.
Not only is our national debt bad, 16, 20 trillion thanks to Obama, reckless spending and giving a lot of it overseas, he's also put us at risk. Security, that was the worst deal ever. Us letting Iran get this nuclear capability without any checks and balances. We're at high risk, very high risk. And Trump wants to support the military and the veterans. And being a member of the National Society of Daughters of the American Revolution, where my father's forefathers died, some of them, and gave everything to have us have a country. I'm very passionate about supporting our veterans, and we need to have a strong military, and you can't do that unless you have the money. And Obama's cut it way down. Our military's way down.
I understand that, but my point is, the Hillary, she has been a Secretary of State, and she was the First Lady for 8 years with Bill Clinton. She has experience, and she has seen the first-hand experience being in the White House, and also how to run it. She's been a force behind the Bill Clinton. So does that experience does not count at all as a politician? Versus the Donald Trump has no experience whatsoever being in politics or becoming a politics or creating the policies or even running the cabinet? Whoever wants to.
I'll take that one.
Yes. Okay.
A lot of people have degrees and they don't have common sense. And I think common sense is what dominates us in life. And Hillary has all the experiences in all the offices that she has held, because she's constantly always running for office. I mean, that's her limelight. So, but the common sense, what it takes to drive a car, to go to the grocery store, to plan out your budget, all that stuff, she doesn't have that experience, that common sense.
Is that what we need to be a president of the country?
Of course, you have to have good common sense. You have to have a common sense. What does a daily worker endure to bring the money home to the wife? What does the wife do with that budget in a home? Of course it does.
Well, let me ask you the same question. What would be your answer?
Well, as far as answering your question about her track record is zilch. If you want an international policy of failure after failure after failure, vote in Hillary. But if you want an expert negotiator, vote Trump, because he's done it all of his life. If he can do it for business and his own family, look at his family. They love him. They've been successful. He will do it for this country. And as far as international policy goes, also, Hillary Clinton was responsible for selling 90% of U.S. uranium assets to the Russian government, and she pocketed a pretty chunk in that negotiation, brokering that deal. So she is not for the United States. She's all about greed and herself, and she's a big phony. You can see straight through her.
But we're looking is because of her actions. That's where I, as a woman, as a mother, I have to be very concerned for my daughter and her future.
A lot of people are...
The Supreme Court justices is where
even judges, even a lot of people from the Congress are not supporting Trump. They're saying that he does not have a good judgment, and he is spreading hatred in the country. He's dividing the country. And how do you justify that?
He sounds just like me. Most of the time I sound just like him.
Which is?
We're a fighter, and we stand and we just say it out there. Sometimes we don't say it right, most of the time we do, but one thing you can count on us, we're out there to help you when you're down.
Okay.
Hillary is not out there to help you when you're down. What is it in for her and her foundation? I want 4 Supreme Court justices that are conservative in their values, their Christian walk of life, and that they worship the God that this country was founded on. Then like that, I know justice will be equally for me as it would be for you, or a Middle Eastern, or anyone that comes from any country. Justice will be equal for everyone.
How sure are you? And why you are so sure?
Because
about
the
it?
first
Whoever
time,
want to take this question.
the first time when he came to Houston and came to the Woodlands, I sat there and I told my husband, that's the man I'm going to vote for because he's going to win. So when he was on stage with all those 17, it was like going to a football game. Every night I went to bed at 1 o'clock in the morning. I got up in the morning and I got my iPad and I wanted to hear what he was saying. And he knocked off each one. You got your feelings hurt? That's tough, but that's politics. Because if you ran in the state of Texas, you know how politics work. So put the politics behind you, put your feelings behind you, and come out and support Trump. Because he is the Republican representative. And when you ran for office, we represented you, we voted for you, we got out and make the calls and block wall. So put your feelings behind, and I want you to come out and support Donald Trump.
Okay, so now he's the one, Trump is the one been saying so many bad things about women. He's been putting women down. He's been saying degrading stuff to women and also people with disabilities and the minorities and all of that. But still, I mean, how do you justify that?
Well, I think that you have to really look inside the heart of a person and have good judgment and discernment. When Donald Trump's last statement at the GOP acceptance speech was, "I love you," he meant it. He loves people. He loves helping people. He has a track record and a history of helping so many needy families. He's even been looking in newspapers, and he reads about these indigent people that are in harm's way. He invites them into his office and he interviews them and he helps them. And these stories are countless. And as far as women, helping women, why don't you ask Hillary, what about all of Clinton's mistresses? Where, did she come out and support the women that he trashed?
No.
Absolutely not. They're in it thick and thin together like Lady Macbeth and Macbeth. They are full of evil and personal ambition. It's nothing to help the American people. And that's what I think Trump will be great at. He will create jobs because he's done it. He knows how to do it. All Hillary does is talk. And I think, it's very good that Trump wants to bring prayers back into our schools. Obama got rid of them. She's not going to change that either. Hillary doesn't want to. She said nothing about that. I have never heard Trump say a degrading thing.
Are you talking about bringing the Christianity and into the schools?
Well, we used to have a National Day of Prayer, and Obama did away with that. And I think Trump does want to bring prayers back into our schools. And whether it's going to be whichever faith it is, I think we have to have a time for meditation and reflection on our Creator.
It's a time for us to take a little short break, but once we come back, we have a lot more to discuss. We have a lot more to discuss when we come back after this break. Welcome back to TV Houston's Diversity Talk. I'm your host, Sangeeta Dua. Before we went on a break, we were talking about some issues, but coming back in our show, I wanted to actually add in another topic that I wanted to ask actually both of you, and both of you can answer one by one, is as Donald Trump is always saying that he's so against the Muslim people, and he said, I'm going to ban all Muslims coming to this country. Now, isn't not dividing the country, because there are a lot of good Muslims in this country. They're like good citizens and they're taxpayers, and they have the right to stay in this country, to raise their children, to have the families, and because not all Muslims are fanatic, not all Muslims are extremist and radical, but there are some good Muslims. So how do you justify that when he says all Muslims are banned?
Well,
Okay, all right.
it's like a salesman knocking on my door. The guy looks good, he dressed good. Do I know he's not a prisoner? Is he going to hurt me or what? You don't know. You have to keep a glass between you and the person knocking on the door. So when it comes to the Muslim people, no, they're going to be very welcome, but he is going to go through a very serious vetting, because the bombings that took place in France, in Germany, in Spain, in California, in Florida, do you think I want that here in Texas? No. I don't want to be able to go to a football game or a baseball game and worry, is today I'm going to die? Is there someone that's fanatic with the Islamic or ISIS or the Sharia law that I don't want to profess in practicing or accepting? Would they be so upset that they will go and hurt me in a restaurant? No. I like what Trump is saying. I just want to see how he's going to vet them. But I do agree with him. It is serious. I don't want it here.
But then again, some of those incidents were done by our homegrown people who were citizens, the kids who were born here, raised here.
That's right. But their parents came from there. Do you know what is being discussed while that child was growing up? Because the parents from Middle East, you know that, and from Japan and from Asia, we play a very important part when we are eating around the table. We are discussing politics and issues, and that child, although that child is eating, he is listening, he's forming his idea. And then when he becomes 18 and 22 and goes off to college, university, and hears liberal talk, why they hate America, why other Americans hate America, you put those two together and it becomes disaster, because not all Americans love America. Some of them, I don't know how screwed up they are. You were born here, you were raised here, I wasn't, yet I come here and love the country. You were born here, educated here, and you're burning up the American flag that my husband fought, died for? And you're going to be burning because you have that freedom? That flag represents a lot of soldiers, Hispanic soldiers that died for that flag. It didn't die for Mexico flag. It didn't die for Panamanian flag. It died for the American flag.
Thank you so much. And going back to the same question for you, why it's, I mean, I understand, and it's so emotional, and I kind of, I don't want to say I agree to that, but yes, I feel and I am hearing that. And let me take that question back to you. Well, because I want to say that our diversity talk is nonpartisan. We are not saying that I am supporting the Hillary or I am supporting the Trump. I am just hearing the views from you guys and kind of let the viewers hear about it. So what's your view on that?
Well, to
What's your
answer your
opinion?
question, Sangeeta, about what do I think that if Trump said that all Muslims are bad and they shouldn't come here, I never heard him say that at all. What I heard
not
was,
all Muslims are bad. He says he's going to ban all Muslims from coming to America, from entering America.
well, he did, but he qualified that by saying after that, there was a disclaimer on that, they need to be vetted, and not by some fluky method that they're using now. That it's not even a vetting process. They're just bringing them in here because we are compassionate.
But why
whatever.
did that come from anyway? Why did that comment come from? Why it was put in his head, or why, just like
Because of the
Bernadette was
press,
saying,
the media is blowing up the half-truth.
Yeah.
They're giving you the first half of his comment, but they're not putting in the full truth, and to me that is not the truth. The truth is he has a big heart, but he believes in tough love. You know, as disciplinarians in home and in the school, we believe in tough love. You love somebody, we can reach out to all nationalities and people. That's my faith. But when it comes to them dictating and becoming militant over me and everybody else, that's where I draw the line.
What are you talking about?
The Muslim, it's a matter of education. I think that if you go to Act for America, Brigitte Gabriel and her followers have tons of educational materials on showing you exactly what the Islamic faith, and to me it's a cult, it's a religion, a form of government guised in the cloak of religion. There is not love one time in the Quran, and it preaches that they are instructed, they are commanded, the Muslims are commanded to kill anyone who does not believe in their Muslim faith. And as far as coming here and trying to tell us that they are going to have Sharia law and courts and so forth, I worked very hard in Texas the last time they were in legislative session to stop Sharia law with a law here in Texas saying that you could only use the the U.S. Constitution and the Texas Constitution.
Hold on. That is a surprise to me. So what you're saying, when you were running for a Congress
that was after, it was later.
So it was almost becoming a law of Sharia law in Texas?
According to Brigitte Gabriel, the founder of Act for America, which is a lobbyist group, probably the biggest against the Islamic militant jihadist movement here in our country and in the world, she said that the first place Sharia law was practiced was in Richardson, Texas. That's near Dallas.
Wow.
Yes. And so it is a big threat to us, but I think going back to Trump,
why is the Sharia law is a threat to us? I just want to know, why is it a threat to us? Like, what's wrong with that? A lot of people might not know about it.
The U.S. Constitution says we should only use the U.S. Constitution as the law of this land.
Yes.
And if they want to come here, they're going to have to live by that, the Muslims and anyone else.
Anybody else.
So
Yes.
the point is that if we can get Trump elected, what's at risk here with the Supreme Court justices? If Hillary gets in, she's going to support very liberal Supreme Court judges that will possibly allow for Sharia law. So we will no longer be living under the U.S. Constitution and the law. Ours is a nation of laws. That is what makes our nation, is our laws.
Yes.
And freedom and justice for all. And they do not like women. They discriminate against women, right and left. And I mean, look at how they beat their wives, and they can't get jobs, and they put them, they're treated worse than dogs,
But you
really.
see, that's a lifestyle that I don't accept. But then when it comes to a person's religious or faith background, I respect that. You have the right to worship in the manner that you feel that is suited for you and your family, from whatever country you come. I don't want to see that America is telling anyone, hey, you have to be born again, or you have to be a Baptist or a Methodist or things like that. No, I disagree
That's one of
on
the
that.
reason we are all here. All the immigrants are here, living happily here.
But there are persons, in Texas especially, that want to dominate that kind of mentality, and I really don't like it. It does infuriate me when I begin to hear that, because a person has the right to either reject God or accept Him, or worship Him or not worship Him. But they do not have the right to take the Constitution that govern us and the laws on the book to tell me that I'm going to live it differently according to your country, no.
Correct. I got your point. Yes.
Well, another thing I'd like to say about the Muslim faith, you know, if you want to respect all faiths, I would appreciate it if when we bring in Muslim refugees or anyone from that faith in this country, when they have seen the savage things that the Muslims, the jihadists have done, the Islamic jihadists, like burning live human beings in cages and beniving their heads and just slaughtering Americans in any free city in the world, Orlando, San Francisco, Boston, France, Nice, wherever. And why are they not coming out and decrying this fact?
Because of how they were raised, Lois, in their country, women are submerged or they even are flogged by their husbands. They have to practice exactly what their husbands say. So when you bring them into a country of freedom, it's different. They have to start learning.
See, whatever their religion is teaching them, or whatever they are preaching them, or whatever they are practicing, I believe that as an American, we don't have any rights to tell them what to do. We don't have any rights to change them or tell them they have to live according to American rules. If they are in this country or wherever they are in the globe, they can practice any religion that they want. We respect all religion, all culture, all everybody. But I do believe that nobody should impose their religion, their opinion, their culture on anybody
Well,
else.
that's the whole point
That's
I was
right.
trying to make, is that if you study and educate yourself on the Islamic culture and form of government, which I don't regard that it is religion, but if you study it, their teachings are that they want to dominate the world. The Islamic jihad philosophy is to overtake the world.
This topic is so big, we can actually keep on going and talking about it, but we only have about 1 hour show, which is about to end. So I'm going to say that at the end. Thank you very much, Ms. Bernadette, and keep doing what you're doing, and an action committee member, and from the Republican side. I love the way your message was out to the people, and love the way you opened up your heart and our show and engaged with our viewers. And at the same time, I thank you so much and appreciate your comments and the educational values that you brought in, and the facts that you put together for our viewers to hear about it. And I'm sure it's definitely appreciated from our team, and we thank you, both of us, from the entire team of TV Houston. And again, we want to vote for women to be in power.
I hope that the women and GOP party will keep running for office, because I got a lot of support at the end when they found out it was running from men in the GOP. They want to support us. We are the party of the future, the light and the way. Join us.
Thank you so much, and thank you so much. And thank you for watching TV Houston, and thank you for supporting Diversity Talk, and we'll see you next Friday at the same time.
Thank you.